morning. Welcome to the online course on fecal sludge management. I am Sagar Gupta and today we are going to discuss about treatment technologies. After the fecal sludge is collected into the tanks, it is transported to fecal sludge treatment plant where it is emptied into the drying beds. Basically, drying bed function as to dewater, stabilize and mineralize the sludge. Drying bed can be further classified into two types: planted drying bed and unplanted drying bed. Unplanted drying bed is a drying bed which consists of sand and gravel as filter material. Basically, it separates the liquid and solid portions. The sand and gravel work as filter media where liquid percolates through the filter media and gets collected into a ponding system, whereas sludge is retained on the top and left for drying. Basically, the unplanted drying bed work upon two basic principles, which includes the percolation of water through the drying beds. This type of principle is suitable for the fecal sludge which is collected with more water contained. It has a drying time period of hours to day. In this principle, the water reduction is achieved about 50 to 80%. Whereas the second principle works upon the evaporation of water bounded in fecal sludge, in which the water is evaporated through the solar radiations. This type of principle have a drying period of days to weeks. In this, the volume reduction is achieved about 20 to 50%. The next thing which we have to more emphasize while planning a fecal sludge treatment plant is which technology to be adopted. The technology to be adopted depends upon following parameters: climatic factor, type of fecal sludge, sludge loading rate, thickness of the sludge layer and number of beds. The following parameters are subdivided on the factor on which they depend. Considering the climatic factor, which depends upon the temperature, rainfall and the humidity. If we consider the temperature factor, it will be noted that the countries with high humidity will lead to the lower evaporation of sludge, which will affect the drying time of the bed. So the climatic factor plays a very important role while selecting a drying technique. Next is type of fecal sludge. When we are using a drying bed, the origin from which the sludge is collected plays an important role, because the moisture contained in the sludge affects the specific sludge resistance to dewatering. So when a sludge is collected from septic tank, which is lower water bound, it is having a lower specific resistance to dewatering. Whereas when the sludge is collected from public toilets, which are unsettled, leads to higher specific resistance to dewatering. This results into difficulty in separation of liquid and solid. Another parameter which is considering while designing is sludge loading rate. Basically, sludge loading rate is the amount of total solid that is being transported or arriving on the fecal sludge treatment plant and being deposited on the 1 meter square area of drying bed per year. If the transported sludge will be having more water contained, this will result into a thicker layer of bed. The another parameter is thickness of sludge layer. The thickness of sludge layer depends upon the water bounded in the sludge. If the collected sludge is thicker, then as a result it will reduce the number of beds required for drying. A desirable depth of 20 to 30 cm is considered good. Another factor is number of beds. Number of beds depends upon the thickness of sludge layer and drying time period of sludge. It is also affected by the frequency on which the sludge is arriving on the fecal sludge treatment plant. Suppose if a sludge is having a drying time period of 12 days and the frequency of arriving of fecal sludge on the treatment plant is 5 in a week. So as a result, we will be requiring 10 number of beds for drying. After understanding the design and operational parameter, the next portion is of construction. The construction of unplanted drying bed is straightforward. It is having two methods. First method consists of a ramped inlet splitted into two beds at a single time. A bed is a rectangular structure which is provided with a drainage at the bottom. The drainage is provided with a slope provided in the rectangular bed. The second method involves a settling tank where the sludge is being poured and from which the sludge is pumped into the beds, providing a splitter plate which prevents the erosion of the soil. As we know that the drying bed consists of sand and gravel as filter media. While placing the gravel and sand, we have to keep in mind that sand and gravel should be washed properly in order to avoid the coagulation. Let us now discuss another type of drying bed, planted drying bed. These are the drying beds which are provided with emergent microphytes. It is also known as vertical flow wetlands. This type of drying bed is suitable for the countries with tropical climate, where temperature fluctuation is low, and it is more suitable in summer season, where higher rate for oxidation, water removal, and solid reduction could be achieved. A planted drying bed has a desludge time of 1.5 to 3 years.